Hello, I'm Mike Gordon. Welcome back to my perfect playthrough of Sonic Jam. And having completed everything there was to do in the original Sonic the Hedgehog, it is now time to take a dip back into my favorite Sonic game of all time, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Now, because all of the time attack modes are based on the game's normal difficulty setting, and since we already played the game on original when I first did a perfect playthrough of this game, I'm only gonna skip ahead and do this game on easy mode. Fortunately, we don't have to beat each individual act in order to unlock them in the time attack mode. We just have to beat the game in general to unlock everything. So, easy mode is. Now, fortunately, there are more than unlike Sonic 1, we can access the special stages through the giant rings, and you can clearly see some missing obstacles here and there, enemies and obstacles. What I'm trying to do is collect enough rings to enter a special stage. Unfortunately, if you want to go super fast in this game, we're going to have to get a good chunk of the Chaos Emeralds here in Emerald Hill Act 2. Believe it or not, you can obtain up to 5 Chaos Emeralds in Emerald Hill Act 2. And of course, because it's easy mode, it's only 1 act per zone. And the game shows, well, fortunately, the one with the most amount of star posts. However, if you want to go fast, I kind of wish they did Act 1. Why? Because there's 2 star posts that you could easily get 50 rings on while still going fast. Whereas here in Act 2, you kind of want to get at least 3 Chaos Emeralds before moving on. Alright, what I did right there is damage abuse so I could spread the ring count between Sonic and Tails. Tails has like a split-second lag behind Sonic, so this is gonna be very tricky. But what I'm gonna try to do is just hide behind Tails and just stay here. On easy mode, the ring counts needed to clear each special stage is significantly lowered. Like, it's even lower than the ring count you would need to complete them as Knuckles. But my main objective is to spread around so that both Sonic and Tails have less than 100 rings, so we can get through the ring count as quickly as possible. And this is kind of the problem. We need to backtrack quite a bit so we can nab all the remaining rings. So we can nab 50 rings. See? This part isn't a huge time waste, but there really isn't another good spot we could have done this. On hindsight, I probably could have found another place where we could have nabbed 50 rings. Like in the future level, but I don't know. Because I could have just had bookended Emerald Hill Acts 1 and 2 with the special stages and not worry much about anything. Because Sonic isn't front, I'm trying to wait for the opportune moment to put Tails in the front so Sonic doesn't exceed the 100 ring count. Alright, that was kind of reckless of me, but I'll be able to I can make the adjustments here. Very close. And of course, Tails has to be a dumbass. I don't want the excess rings for Sonic, so I just got out of the way. You don't have to be exactly even. You just have to have it so that neither one has less than 100, so that both characters have less than 100 rings, but can combine for the ring count. But can combine the ring counts to what they actually need. Slowing down here so I could access this special stage. It's honestly kind of amazing how quick the load times are for these special stages in Sonic Jam. It's kind of amazing. Can you stop running into these bomb sails? I'm trying to steer myself into them while you miss them yourself. Finally. Got Tails in the front. And now we're just about even. Now, if you were playing this on normal or original difficulty setting, well, you basically would need to get exactly 100 rings on both Sonic and Tails to have the 6th Emerald. And for the short side, it would be 110 rings for the second stage and 105 for the third. That's insanely difficult on one player to manipulate. But luckily this is easy, so we don't have to worry about that. So we're nearly halfway there with the Chaos Emeralds. I didn't bother getting 5 of them because the other 2 are a little out of the way and require a much slower route and a ton of backtracking for rings. And of course this boss only takes 3 hits because it's easy mode. So I kinda YOLO'd that. Really cut it kinda close with 0 rings. And then we get Chemical Plant 1, which doesn't have a single star post we could use. So I'm just gonna speedrun my way to the finish line. No enemy here because easy mode. Gonna try to shortcut this thing to the end. And I got the sub 30 seconds. Probably could have waited another second so I don't have to wait for the countdown. After all, this isn't really a speed run per se. Still, I'm amazed at how fast I got through that. And now it's Aquatic Ruin 1, which does have an ideal spot for a special stage. Hot tier. It's really out there. Honestly, I have Playa rings. I just need to get 1 monitor. Ooh, super close. Got the 50 rings just as I touched the star post to get the special stage. So there's gonna be some erratic movements, I was gonna say. Jeez, Tails just keeps running into these bombs. I think I know how to do this. Yeah, I just ran towards the middle, and I'm just gonna hug the left side until I have reason to jump, like here. Yeah, I'm playing it smart. I want to stay on the right side. We don't want to really move to the middle. Right, it doesn't matter that Sonic's back up front because we got less. Each character has less than 100 rings, and we crossed our ring total. Don't care. Now I can basically speedrun my way to the end of this level. Just requires some well-timed speed. And there we go. Another extra life for crossing 50,000 rings, and Casino Night 1, which I used to make an attempt to route out a path for a special stage. That would have been my backup option if I just went for this instead of getting as a potential special stage spawn instead of doing 3 in Emerald Hill. Ah. Ultimately, I didn't go that route, and am I gonna get to the 50 ring count? Ooh, yes I am. So yeah, I did have to manipulate the ring count for this stage, okay. Now, if I was playing this on normal or original difficulty, I would have to try to manipulate Sonic and Tails to having exactly 100 rings. Easier said than done. And then the 6th stage, I would have 110 rings and then 105 rings each. Because there's no way to get the necessary ring count without exceeding 100 rings for someone. So, doing the lowest count, those are speedrun strats. At this point, I don't think it's really worth all that much, but still, I'm gonna try to... Damn it, Tails. Last chance to get Tails up front. No. So what I'm gonna do, since I can't get Tails up front, I am just gonna settle for the bare minimum. A number of rings. Just stay in the middle. And we cross the limit, and there you go. I did the count in my head and knew exactly how many rings I needed to get under 100. So this is another instance where I actually had slowed down. I'm not gonna farm for any more rings, I just happen to land there. And this is not the route I normally would take, but whatever. 40 rings anyways. So Hilltop 1 definitely has an ideal spot to enter a special stage at the very end. And look at all those pillars that sprung up. Break that. So that's kind of convenient. And there was a platform there. Just drop down here. Lots of hand holding with those platforms keeping us from falling into the lava. At least on the easy side. We had to wait because we could get crushed if we rushed it, so. Now, I'm gonna access special stage. A perfect place for one. And honestly, I'm so glad I'm not that diehard to try to manip the absolute lowest ring counts for both Sonic and Tails to get in the Chaos Emerald. I'm just gonna hug the sides because that's the safer route. 100 rings is the next threshold. Yeah, just like last time, the 6th special stage has the highest ring counts of any of the special stages. Alright, that's a little easier to manip Tails up front. Just narrowly got it. And the ring count we need now? 130 rings. Okay, that's pretty reasonable. I imagine that the ring count would be even lower if you were just playing as just Sonic or just Tails. Can't wait to see what the ring count is when playing as Knuckles. But on the bright side is playing as Knuckles, we don't have to worry about replenishing our rings because our ring count carries over. And we have a huge surplus of rings here, but it doesn't matter because they're both under 100. If they're both under 100 and across the threshold, it doesn't matter how many they got. That means we can have our final Chaos Emerald in the very next stage. This one will require a bit of finagling to get. Because it's Mystic Cave Act 1. And those crusher things are no longer in the stage. And for the most part, neither are those things that come out of the ground. A huge drop off in terms of enemies because of easy. Spikes are still there, that's interesting. And instead of those 3 pillar things, yeah, though, you just have a spring here. I'm gonna take this route because that's where we can access. And this is a bit slower than the intended fast route, but it's the best route for finding the special stage. And I'm gonna do the same zigzagging motions I did before. In order to get Tails up front. And Tails is completely out of sync with me. This is kind of bad. Just gotta stay on one side. Already crossed that threshold. So I'm just gonna let these rings pass me by, and I'm just going to look for a golden opportunity to get Tails up front. Actually, I'm just gonna take these rings. So this is gonna be a bit tricky, but we can manipulate the bomb rings. Because Tails has a split-second time delay in his jump, we could use that to our advantage to get Tails up front by crashing into the rings. Into the ring of bombs. So Tails just has to nab the remaining rings, and we are good. And we are gold. As in supersonic gold. Because we have collected all the Chaos Emeralds and can now change into supersonic. Like, there's so many platforms here so we don't fall down. Even though getting back up there would have been more annoying than it is difficult. And that is it for Mystic Cave Zone. By the way, it's been a while since we fought the Eggman, so Oil Ocean 2 it is. This is also why I decided to have Supersonic now. Because he can actually help us quite a ton at getting to the boss quickly. Ooh, that was not what I wanted to do, so that was the one I wanted to take. Collecting a bit of extra rings. I always wanted a route so I could get Supersonic before this point. See if I can land. Nope. Oh well, and that's because if I miss this ring, I can at least make the jump. And of course, this boss takes only 3 hits to kill, so one cycling this guy is a cinch. I also wanted Super Stock from Metropolis because I know it's easy mode, but I definitely recall some especially trolly enemy placements. So now it's just Metropolis Act 1. This isn't really the scary part. I'm trying to wait for Tails to come down so I don't... Yeah, then those crab enemies are now facing the opposite direction, and for some reason, and those chompers are no longer there. You know, yeah, we don't have to worry. Place those boxes with the spears. No, there are no. I got an extra life. There were no spikes when we jumped down there, and of course we got Supersonic. I don't think we really needed Super Sonic for this, for Act Metropolis 1. On a side note, we didn't really need... If we timed our jump perfectly, we wouldn't have needed Super Sonic for Oil Ocean 2 either. As there would have been an invincibility monitor. Yeah, I would have fell down the middle, but those platforms were in the way, so I figured this would be faster. Jump down, and there would have been our final shot at a special stage if we still needed it. Oh well. Final continue. Final extra, but not quite our final extra life because we have options to farm them. Now there are fewer enemies in Sky Chase on the easy mode, and believe it or not, we will be skipping Wing Fortress because apparently the game interprets Wing Fortress as being Sky Chase Act 1, as the Act 2 to Sky Chase's Act 1, so to speak. Since the game chose to give us Sky Chase, that means there are no more opportunities to obtain Super Sonic. To obtain a Chaos Emerald if you haven't gotten them all already. Which is too bad. I'm just farming kills here so I could get more extra lives, like so. Oh, got that. Orbinaut at the top is kind of scary, but I got them all. I think I'm probably good for 1, maybe 2 more extra lives. Alright, so I got my final set of lives. I could technically flip these enemies down below, but that's nearly impossible to do. So now, we are just gonna head straight to Death Egg Zone, so no Wing Fortress. They give us a ton of rings here. Honestly, I will say the rings absolutely trivializes these bosses, especially when they only take 3 hits to kill. Like, we could have up to 16 rings here, so at least they don't give us enough to turn into Super Sonic. I show so little abandon that it's kind of funny. The rings completely trivializes this final boss fight. It is absolutely ridiculous. Ah! Oh, God! Oh, sorry, I cramped. I cramped, sorry. But that is Sonic 2 on easy mode. It's kind of an interesting experience. I honestly prefer the normal or original difficulties. Yes, we don't have to deal with the enemy placements, and I can play these games much more leisurely. I mean, Sonic 2 is if you count Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles as separate games, Sonic 2 could easily contend for the longest Sonic game. The whole quadrilogy, so to speak. But if you count as a trilogy, it is actually second to Sonic 3 and Knuckles. That game is gigantic. Don't worry, if you want to see me play Sonic 2 on the normal setting, you can still tune in next time when we take on the game's time attack. When we take on the game's time attack mode. You will act, and I'm gonna try speedrunning that game, and it's gonna take quite a while to finish that game. Luckily, we don't have to worry about collecting the Chaos Emeralds for that, but I will save that for another video. Probably the only time I'm gonna split the extra mode section to multiple videos, because the special stages are quite long, and there's really no room to shorten the length of those videos. Which is why I'm splitting up the special stages in the time attack mode for Sonic 2. Sorry. It is what it is. So now, Sonic 2's normal difficulty setting is kind of similar, but many of the obstacles are going to remain intact. It is still mostly the same as the original difficulty setting. Of course, they add in rings and Death Egg, so you can survive, so you can tank a few hits. Man, speedrunning that game took a ton of work. So I hope you are looking forward to Sonic 2's time attack mode next time. And again, I only play Sonic 2 on easy mode, A, to show off the differences between it and original mode, and B, to unlock time attack so I can show off what Sonic 2 looks like on the normal difficulty setting. As well as speedrun all the individual zones. So two birds with one stone, so to speak. I've beaten this game so many times already that I don't think beating this game on easy mode is that egregious. Most people would never be able to play this game on the easy setting because Sonic Jam remains exclusive to the Sega Saturn to this very day. It's never been re-released on Virtual Console or anything like that. And of course I have to wait till access the menus just to exit out of the game. Kinda tedious. But next time on my perfect playthrough of Sonic Jam, we are taking on time attack mode. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel, I greatly appreciate it. With all out of the way, this is Mike Gordon, sign out.